Welcome to today's lift safety discussion. My name is Bob O'Gorman. I'm the president of the Automotive Lift Institute. With me today is Janelle Story, ALI's Certification Program Coordinator, and Dale Seuss, ALI's Senior Project Engineer. In 2008, ALI partnered to support a local emphasis program with OSHA Region 8. That same year, we are identified as OSHA's Alliance Partner of the Year. During that time back in 2008, I presented on behalf of the Automotive Lift Institute live in Seattle to enforcement and consultation teams representing much of North America. As a not-for-profit safety organization, ALI then worked directly with state and federal OSHA to mail safety material packets to each office across the country. Those materials were used by both consultation and enforcement to further help with the understanding of those tools that exist for the lift user and their employer. This presentation has been built specifically for OSHA consultation team members and their clients. Today, we'll be addressing lift certification, lift inspection, and operator training, all areas where citations are generally issued and where there is a real potential for serious injury or loss of life involving an automotive lift. The purpose of our time together is to encourage a proactive approach to automotive lift safety rather than relying on penalty-based compliance. At the end of our time today, we will remind attendees of the email address presented in this slide and our web address. This approach will allow those seeking ALI lift safety materials for their own shop to make that happen by contacting our team or visiting our online store found at www.autolift.org. ALI's website is a great resource for dealerships, service and repair shops, code enforcement, health and safety officials, purchasing agents, and anyone else that might be looking for more information on lift safety or the safety materials supported by North America's responsible lift manufacturers and third-party certified lift inspectors. As you can see by this photo, the Automotive Lift Institute is not located in New York City. We are actually 4 hours northwest from New York City, directly between Syracuse and Cornell universities. In just a few minutes, I'll turn this presentation over to ALI's Senior Project Engineer. But before I do, I'll share a few little-known facts about ALI. When we were founded in 1945, we were organized by a small group of manufacturers as an industry trade association. This is, in fact, the same way that many of today's industry associations or watchdogs initially started. Before ALI had their own facilities, we partnered with reputable organizations and organized Industry Week and multi-day events that focused on our mission of promoting the safe design, construction, installation, inspection, and use of automotive lift products. Today at ALI headquarters, our staff can accommodate the needs of lift inspectors and other audiences throughout the year. For lift inspectors, ALI staff will evaluate their performance of the required practical inspections. This is the last step required just prior to completing the certification program's requirements, allowing for designation as a lift inspector certified by ALI. This on-site approach allows inspectors to shorten the time required to complete their certification requirements. Often, inspectors don't have available lift resources of their own, or they find themselves competing with income-based projects versus dedicating time to finding the required lift types to inspect and complete the certification process. In addition to supporting inspectors, ALI also hosts NRTL engineers for training VOTEC students and instructors, auto dealer associations, and other authorities having jurisdiction, including building code officials and corporate health and safety representatives. In early 2021, ALI expanded the Lift Lab to support manufacturers left unable to have testing and product approval performed due to COVID-19 travel restrictions. Working in partnership with our nationally recognized testing laboratories, ALI has established a one-of-a-kind facility capable of performing lift safety and component evaluations on the most popular lift models offered throughout North America. ALI is internationally accredited and recognized by the American National Standards Institute's National Accreditation Board, ANAB accreditation number 0584. We are respected by the consumer and authorities having jurisdiction for our industry watchdog efforts. As you can see today, we make the time to be a resource advocating automotive lift safety through those areas where citations occur: lift certification, operator training, annual inspection, and planned maintenance. The 3 vehicle lift safety standards depicted are the current editions of the American National Safety Standards for automotive lifts. Each standard covers a different stage a lift goes through from production to use in the shop. We will visit each of these later. Dale, you're up.
Thanks, Bob. I'm going to take the next few minutes and talk about an extremely important topic which directly relates to safety of the technician and others in the service bay. If you can believe this, ALI is regularly contacted by remorseful lift purchasers who have been told incorrectly that ALI certification is not required, or that the lifts they purchased on eBay or Amazon are the same as ALI, but they cost less by leaving the ALI sticker off them. Just to be clear, ALI does not make or sell automotive lifts. We are a safety organization. Knowing that the lift market in North America is very much a buyer beware transaction, it is important to know general and specific requirements that address this product category, and it is the lift purchaser, not the manufacturer, that is held responsible. An interesting fact is that Chapter 30 of the IBC requires certification to the ALI ALCTV standard. This covers both the electrical and mechanical requirements I'll be talking about in a minute, and disallows installation of uncertified automotive lifts. Both OSHA and the NEC requirements for electrically operated equipment in the workplace are harmonized, and the rule is clear. Are you aware this rule also applies to automotive lifts and all wheel and tire equipment used in a shop? We are not sure if it's because shop equipment is intimidating or if occupational safety and health representatives and those in the industry need more education to this point, but we still have noticed a large percentage of electrical equipment and automotive lifts in the small shop environment coming from both overseas and within North America simply does not comply with this requirement. Think about it. This means such equipment has no business being installed or being used when you consider both 1910 and the IBC. ALI's lift certification program fully and independently assesses a manufacturer's lift model, regardless of where in the world it is produced. We do not use foreign engineers. ALI requires US-based engineers for all testing. ALI certified lifts are evaluated against tough electrical and mechanical safety standards developed specifically for automotive lifts used in the North American market. ALI does not, nor do building code or occupational safety and health officials, accept CE-approved lifts here in the United States. As you might guess, we prefer to promote the use of our standards proactively when it comes to automotive lift safety. However, there is a place for penalty-based compliance. ALI standards and programs are an excellent abatement source when the proactive approach has failed to be implemented and a shop is faced with corrective actions. I'm not going to say anything more than the self-explanatory message on this slide. Only certified automotive lifts should be installed in the workplace. The Automotive Lift Institute only partners with the top OSHA-accredited, nationally recognized testing laboratories. Everybody in the room has probably heard of UL. UL has active representation on our lift safety standards committees, and ALI actively participates as a member of their Garage Equipment Safety Standards Committee, UL 201. Note that neither UL nor CSA evaluate automotive lifts. Intertech and MET both carry approval, also known as accreditation, from OSHA to perform the UL 201 lift-related work. These are the two labs that directly support the ALI lift certification program to fulfill evaluation and listing of the required electrical requirements. Both Intertech and MET are authorized by ALI to support the certification program's mechanical evaluations before ALI engineers review and ultimately approve the product. Only after this review and approval will the lift model earn ALI's gold certification mark. Shown on this slide are ALI's gold certification labels. In each of these labels, only the NRTL providing the electrical listing is different. The ALI certified mark demonstrates certification to the ANSI ALI ALCTV standard as seen to the right of ALI's mark. Don't be misled by ignorant or intentional claims by lift owners, sellers, or others that a recognition mark is the same as a complete product certification. It isn't. This is like saying an unmounted tire is the same as a car. Automotive lifts must bear the words Certified Automotive Lift on the label showing the agency mark, or the lift is not certified. As briefly indicated, ALI develops North America's lift safety standards. In this case, ANSI ALI ALCTV is the safety standard that defines the electrical and mechanical safety requirements for automotive lifts installed throughout North America. ALCTV stands for Automotive Lift Construction, Testing, and Validation. This standard calls out the electrical requirements for automotive lifts, requiring an NRTL certification to UL 201, and therefore allows for OSHA enforcement to the previously referenced sections of 1910 and the application of the International Building Code. Now we're going to discuss another extremely important topic which directly relates to technician safety, and that is annual lift inspection. Not unlike lift certification, we often hear people say, "I didn't know my lifts need to be inspected at least annually." Since 1994, inspection of automotive lifts has been required by the standard we will discuss in the next slide. Let me talk briefly about ANSI ALI ALOIM. Known in most shops is the ALI Blue Book. ALOIM stands for Automotive Lift Operation, Inspection, and Maintenance. Often, this standard can be found rolled up along with the rest of the lift manuals and stuffed behind the electrical conduit of the lift, unopened since the day of the installation of the lift. Sadly, our team at ALI and the team at OSHA is called upon when bad things happen. Within the last 2 years, 2 separate and unrelated incidents occurred in a 10-day period, resulting in the death of the technicians working under vehicles. Different shops, different situations, yet an all too familiar end result. During COVID, every operation did whatever was necessary to survive, and some of that is still with us today. To be clear, I'm talking about employers and employees making a conscious decision of reducing or stopping service, repair, maintenance, and annual inspection of lifts and other key equipment. I'm also talking about putting training off to the side. As we all know, at no time did OSHA ever authorize such a short-sighted practice. All we can say is that people did what they thought was necessary to survive. But now is the time to reverse those steps and make safety in the service bay a priority. The need for planned maintenance, operator training, and as a minimum, annual inspection of the lift by a qualified lift inspector is critical for service bay safety. The ALOIM identifies the responsibilities and the requirements for each of these 3 points that health and safety officials typically issue citations for failing to comply with. Citations are issued because of the risk of injury or death. When looking at the slide, note this standard was new in 2020. All prior versions are obsolete and withdrawn. ALI offers the only accredited and independent lift inspector certification program. Even some OEMs rely on ALI program to inspect the lifts they sell. The points on this slide are critical elements allowing those in industry, like yourself, to understand why you and employers can depend on the services of those who complete this process and become certified lift inspectors, including this program was developed by industry leaders. There is a defined process to validate and qualify companies with ongoing process control practices. Each inspector is required to sign and abide by the Inspector Code of Ethics and Conflicts of Interest policies. Other important aspects of ALI's program include validating each inspector through minimum prerequisite experience requirements for each inspector that applies to the program, written examinations and demonstration of application of practical experience, establishing a written quality assurance system, use of standardized inspection documentation, and an annual quality assurance system check. As we talk about the inspection label, I would like to point out three things that differentiates our label that is backed by a nationally recognized certification program accreditation. The first is record keeping is tied to every inspection label as well as to every inspector by a unique inspector identification number. The second, each label applied has a unique serial number that has record keeping requirements for the associated inspection report. Additionally, ALI has taken security measures such as the void mark shown here and two holographic design elements embedded in the label. And third, finally, ALI inspectors declare the standard and provide a written report as evidence of compliance. Today, there are still those examining lifts, taking money, and failing to provide a written report on the requirements the lift was judged against for annual inspection. Sadly, there are unqualified individuals willing to counterfeit or offer a substandard inspection. ALI has and will defend and protect industry and our program in such cases. The ALI label represents a nationally accredited process providing assurance to employees, employers, and the health and safety officials that the national safety standards requirements for annual inspection have been applied and met. ALI's website directory hosts a complete list of the current ALI certified lift inspectors. Simply enter your zip code and select a search radius. This directory is the most up-to-date information on the current ALI certified lift inspectors. Thank you for your time today. I'd like now to introduce Janelle Story.
Thanks, Dale. We will now move on to our final topic. You may recall that previously we briefly mentioned penalty-based programs when discussing drivers for ALI's Lift Inspector Certification Program. One important aspect of the new edition of the ALOIM standard for inspection requirements is that operator training is not excluded. This is a requirement for the inspector to evaluate and report on during each annual lift inspection. At the end of the day, it is ALI's desire to promote voluntary compliance as an alternative to waiting on a penalty-based finding and possible injury or loss of life. This is exactly why we do what we do. Our mission is to promote the safe design, construction, installation, inspection, and use of automotive lifts. Here you see a citation from 2018. Keep in mind that this is publicly available information and the ALI in no way has knowledge or involvement when site visits or citations occur. Our only involvement, if any, is after the fact when a company is working through the abatement process or confidentially, perhaps in a resource role with the occupational safety and health officer or supervisor for technical expertise. Looking at the highlighted section, the general duty clause is cited, and it clearly calls out the lack of lift safety training and failure to comply with the National Safety Standard, ALOIM, one of the standards that we talked about today. ALI's Lifting It Right online course provides lift safety training for anyone who uses a lift. When it was originally produced, it was hosted by NASCAR's Richard and Kyle Petty as a DVD product. Now the course is offered exclusively online. A certificate is provided when the course is completed. Users have online records, and it allows the ability for any company or dealership to assign the training and to monitor the status, including requalification. The Lifting It Right online course covers spotting and lifting a vehicle, maintaining load stability, lowering the lift, and lift maintenance. It is also available in both English and neutral Spanish. This is an example of a certificate of completion that the user receives after they successfully complete the Lifting It Right online course. Each certificate of completion is stored online for easy access. When a shop needs to produce training records to prove compliance with local or national safety training requirements, they simply sign in and look for the training record in need of being shared or printed. The following is a short introduction to our Lifting It Right course.
The law of gravity is based on the assumption that objects that go up eventually have to come down, sometimes before we'd like them to.
Hi, I'm Kyle Petty.
Hi, I'm Richard Petty. Welcome to the Automotive Lift Institute Safety Training video. As an automotive service professional, you can't afford to compromise your safety or take risks while performing your job.
Safety is the #1 priority in our shop, and it should be the #1 priority in yours.
So keep your eyes peeled and your ears open as we take you through all the things you need to be aware of to make each and every auto lift a safe operation.
At the end of your workday, someone wants you to come home safely.
So wear your safety gear and follow the safety procedures you've seen in this video.
And if you ever feel like you've missed something or ever need to brush up, just pop it back in and watch it again. We'll be right here for you.
Thanks again for taking the time to watch this video and making a commitment to being a safety-conscious professional. For Kyle, me, and all the folks at Automotive Lift Institute, here's wishing you good luck on the test and many safe work days to follow.
And don't forget, a safe team is a winning team.
If you're taking this online course, you're probably someone who works under raised vehicles every day. But did you ever think about what else is riding on the lift when you raise it? It's no exaggeration to say that your life, the happiness of your family and friends, your coworkers' safety, your professional reputation, and your employer's business are also at stake. Whether you've been lifting vehicles for decades or you're just starting out, there's always room for improvement. The Automotive Lift Institute has developed this safety course to show you the correct way to operate an automotive lift to reduce the risk of injury or property damage. This course will cover identifying common lift types, preparing to lift, lifting and working under a raised vehicle, and lowering a vehicle and maintaining the lift. Think about it. Regulations prevent you from standing under the load of every other lifting device, from cranes and loaders to forklifts and elevators, for your safety. But your job requires you to work underneath a lifted load every day. We've got to get this right, people. This is serious stuff with real consequences. Bear in mind, this is a general course on vehicle lift safety. You should also make a point of being familiar with the instructions from the lift manufacturer and these ALI safety materials. Let's get started.
All right, we are now going to move on to our last topic before wrapping up and talk about ALI's Safety Tips poster. It's a fantastic element in ALI's lift safety proposition that we have added in the most recent years. It is 30 inches by 45 inches, so it is easy to read from a distance. The poster is a constant visual reminder of the importance of putting lift safety first. ALI's poster includes bold graphics and pictographs to illustrate 13 tips for safe lifting, including lift operation, maintenance, and inspection. I'm now going to turn it back over to Bob.
Now let's spend a few minutes covering some common questions and answers.
Okay, lift training include what is recommended versus what is required for operation and maintenance from the lift manufacturer.
Responsible manufacturers will reference ANSI, ALI, ALOIM for operator training in their instructions, as well as including all the necessary steps for operation, normal, and abnormal conditions, and the planned maintenance specifics for each lift. There are manufacturers of uncertified lift models that simply don't include anything. In such cases, ALI recommends following the requirements of ALOIM in a proactive manner or to abate OSH findings.
Last week, I investigated a complaint inspection in an auto repair shop. I found an auto lift with a malfunctioning sensor on the crossmember bar. The malfunctioning sensor's purpose is to stop the roof of the vehicle from hitting the crossmember bar above. I couldn't find anything in our rules that talks about these types of lifts. According to ALI standards, does this malfunctioning sensor pose a hazard? If so, what is the hazard?
Yes, the hazard relates directly to health and safety of those in the service bay. There is a known hazard potentially involving the vehicle, facility, and the equipment should a vehicle fail to stop at the limit. In such situations, a vehicle can shift and fall. The component you have identified is known as an overhead travel limit switch, whose purpose is to prevent contact between the vehicle and the overhead structure. ALCTV section 9.2.10 requires this as a mandatory safety component in the design provided by the lift manufacturer. ALOIM section 6.2.4.1.25 identifies the operation of this system as a mandatory annual inspection point that is to be evaluated at least once per year. Similar to cranes, the operation of components of this type are also to be a continuous point of observation and reporting by the lift operator. On behalf of my team here at the Automotive Lift Institute, we thank everyone present today for their time, and we thank the folks at the Pennsylvania OSHA Consultation Office for hosting today's webinar. As previously stated, ALI is a not-for-profit safety organization with a mission to promote the safe design, construction, installation, inspection, and use of automotive lift products. Thank you for your interest in making the service bay a safer place to earn a living.